9 here on the Radio Wammo Breakfast. Time to talk TV, the TV week that's been and the week that's coming as well. On the box, on the radio is what we call it, with Chris Philpott from stuff.co.nz. Good morning, Chris.
Morning, how are you?
Very well, thank you very much. And kicking off with new season premieres. Showtime are offering a few things in the States.
Yeah, we've talked about Showtime before. Last year, you might remember, they offered the first episode of Homeland for free on their website about 2 weeks before it premiered on the channel. And you're able to just go in and watch it. It wasn't even region locked. Like, I went in and watched it here in New Zealand without any kind of trickery with the IP or anything like that. And they've decided that was a success. They're going to do it again with the Big C, the Borgias, and Nurse Jackie, which all are starting on April the 8th. In the States, April 9th here in New Zealand. So the shows are all available there now, the first episodes of new seasons. I think it's the third season of Big C, the second season of Borgias, the fourth season of Nurse Jackie, or maybe the fifth. So that's all available now. It's interesting now that we're seeing this more often, with the shows becoming available, and presumably TV3, who here in New Zealand show all of those shows. They air all of those shows, I should say, rather. They'll presumably do the same as well. They had Homeland available online before it premiered on TV3, so presumably that will happen again. But I find it interesting that more and more we're seeing the channels going to this format, previewing the shows online or doing something like that. A variation on it is Touch, which started last week on Sunday on TV3.
Yeah. In
America, they played the pilot for Touch about a month before the show even started, just as a preview for people to watch. And it's just interesting that this is now a new way of previewing the material. Hey, we've got a new show. Here it is.
And I'm pretty sure, because Showtime also have Californication, and for the past 2 or 3 seasons of Californication, the first 1 or 2 episodes have been leaked online, not officially through like the Showtime website, but leaked as a BitTorrent online about a month before it goes to air. And I reckon that's also their plan as well, particularly with the Californication show, to get it out there almost illicitly, to create a buzz as well.
It's just to create a buzz around it. That's really all it is. It definitely worked for Homeland in the States. It definitely worked for New Girl as well, which I think it had over 1 million clicks on the website. And then when it launched on the air, it actually had higher than expected ratings. Did a lot better than they thought it was going to do. So, it's a really good way of creating buzz, getting the word of mouth machine working for shows, I guess, and it can work. I'm not sure how successful it is in New Zealand. Homeland was available on TV3's website, as I say, and then launched with pretty poor ratings, considering.
Yeah.
So you would think maybe it didn't work here. The other problem is, in New Zealand, the show's become available. The Big C is now on Showtime's website. It's region locked. We can't see it, but someone will have ripped that and put it available on torrents or whatever, and people here will be watching it. And then, that's just part of the machine. People will watch the first one and say, "Oh, I like that. I'm just going to start downloading all of them. Why would I bother with the channel?" So it is a bit of a two-edged sword, I suppose you would say.
Staying with alternative ways of getting content, the BBC iPlayer has landed on the Xbox if you're in the UK.
Yeah, well, I think you were saying that you've tried it out. Is that right?
Well, the caveat is if you're in the UK or if you do some trickery-pokery and manage to get it on your Xbox and put it through a VPN to pretend that you're in the UK, then yes, you can get the iPlayer on your Xbox.
I feel like I've just let out a big secret there. Sorry.
No, not really.
I'm not too sure about using. I like my Xbox 360, it's fine, but I'm not sure about watching TV through it.
Really? I do it all the time.
I would ever use it in that way, yeah?
No, I do it all the time, of course, for all those nefarious downloads that I do as well. I had that streaming from my, I just say all this, my network hub. I have all the files there, and that's streamed through the Xbox. It's a fantastic media player. The only reason why New Zealanders don't think of it as a media player very much is because we aren't offered the legal content that they are overseas through the Xbox. Yeah. Like in the States, you can watch Netflix. There's TMZ. There's a whole bunch of other channels. ABC, I think, there as well. In the UK, you've got Sky on demand. You've got 4 on demand, and now you've got the BBC iPlayer as well. All that stuff is offered legally as a service. We're here in New Zealand. pretty much you can only play games on your Xbox.
Well, it makes you wonder, like, why wouldn't sort of TVNZ on demand and TV3 on maybe? Why wouldn't they look at making their content available for New Zealanders through Xbox or maybe even on PlayStation?
Well, TVNZ have done.
Familiar with PlayStation?
Yeah, well, they have done on demand through the PlayStation, but so they worked out some kind of exclusive deal. Whereas, say, BBC iPlayer is coming to all kinds of devices in the UK.
Yeah.
So the content providers just need to stop being silly about this stuff and say, well, consumers, they do want to consume our content. They probably want to pay for it as well. Let's just try and put it out there through as many devices as possible.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true enough. As you say, if it was more widely available, then probably it would be more widely used. It makes sense that one would follow the other, yeah.
But anyway, I just got to say it's a great service, the BBC iPlayer. Everything that has gone on in the past week, 2 weeks, I think up to perhaps 4 weeks on the BBC across the various channels, is just available there at the flick of a button to watch. It's very, very cool. Right, on to the review. We're looking at Boss.
Yeah, Boss is Kelsey Grammer's show. I think back in January when we came back from the Christmas break, one of the first things we talked about was the shock that Kelsey Grammer had won the Golden Globe for Best Actor in a TV Drama for his role in Boss. And the series finished last week on Soho. And I'm here to tell you that it was pretty fantastic, actually. I think maybe he deserved the win. You know, it's this great political show. There's a lot of intrigue going on. It's really nuanced, where the characters, they're all morally ambiguous. They're all playing both sides, it seems like, for most of the season. And it just goes on, and through its 8 episodes, builds up to this massive crescendo at the end when everything kind of collapses around Tom Kane. Now, for those who haven't seen it, Tom Kane is the mayor of Chicago, played by Kelsey Grammer, and he finds out in the first episode that he's got a neurological disorder, something kind of like Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, where he's gonna his ability to do his job and to live his life is going to be severely diminished, and so that kind of is in the background as the season moves along, and is informing his decisions as the leader of the council in Chicago, and while all that's happening, there's plots to take him down. There's a governorship campaign race happening as well, and it's just really interesting. But the final episode, I won't say too much in case people haven't seen it yet, because I know most people I know who have Soho Channel have been storing up shows. So, but the last episode kind of makes everything fall into place, and it really does it in a marvelous way with great performances from the whole cast. Grammer is fantastic, but also this man Donovan is in there as his main advisor for 30 years. You've got Kathleen Robertson, who was in Beverly Hills 90210 in the mid-90s, who comes out of nowhere, and she's fantastic. Got Connie Nielsen, Jeff Hefner. It really is a fantastic cast and a really interesting show. But what it did was made me rethink whether I remember that I was shocked that he'd won the Golden Globe because he beat out Bryan Cranston and Damian Lewis on Homeland, especially. I was surprised with. But now I'm rethinking maybe Kelsey Grammer did deserve it. And while I was thinking about that, I was thinking who are the best lead actors on TV right now, because we've got Mad Men coming back, so John Hamm is back in the frame.
Yeah.
We had a brilliant series of Boardwalk Empire, so you got Steve Buscemi there. We mentioned The Borgias earlier. Not a really interesting show, but Jeremy Irons is undoubtedly one of the greatest actors around. And then I haven't even mentioned Bryan Cranston on Breaking Bad, Damian Lewis on Homeland, of course, and now Kelsey Grammer. I'm not sure if you could even pick one actor. What do you think?
No, and of course, I mean, with Breaking Bad coming back, it's easy to forget sort of how compelling those performances are. I don't know. Yeah, it's anyone's guess. Of course, Mad Men is the people's favourite, so John Hamm probably is always going to be the people's favourite. But I don't know.
He'll be right there. But think about this, though. John Hamm's never won an acting award.
Really?
For Mad Men. Mad Men has never won an acting award. I think it's won. Sorry, let me correct it. I think it has won Best Supporting Actor for John Slattery, who plays Roger Sterling, and I think Christina Hendricks may have won one. That's just from memory. I don't have that information in front of me, but they've never won for like lead acting or anything like that.
Oh well, how hard could it be to act on Mad Men though? It's just long glances, isn't it? Just lots of
long glasses, lots of scotch and fine suits, and in a way pretty similar to Boss. No, Boss Boss was really good. I really enjoyed it, and I mean, it'll be out on DVD and Blu-ray shortly, and I would highly recommend everyone grab it and watch it. It really was a fantastic series.
All right, what's coming up on TV this week?
Well, we've got some interesting stuff. Tonight is the finale of Justified Series 2, which is on at about 11 o'clock on TV1. Set your mice guy for that one. We've got The Sitting on Friday nights. Now, this is a kind of a niche show that has been under my radar for a while. Just flying under the radar, sorry. And it's on Fridays, 7:30 p.m. on TVNZ. And what it is painter Stephen Martin Welch, or just Marty as he's known, basically he paints and profiles famous Kiwis. Doesn't sound like a great idea for a show, but it's oddly watchable. It really is quite entertaining, and you learn a lot about the people that were on there. Last week we had Mark Sainsbury and Petra Vegas. The week before we had Dick and Otis Frizzell. And it's a really interesting show. Also on Friday night we've got Portlandia starting, which is on at 10 p.m, taking over from Wannaben after 7 days. And that stars Fred Armisen from Saturday Night Live. It's a sketch show, very, very 1990s kind of style. It's really, really quite an entertaining show as well. And then next Tuesday, The Wire, starting on Soho. They're repeating it all, 9:30 p.m. Tuesdays.
Are you going to do it again?
So got nothing else to watch, then watch it there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it again.
No,
I'm halfway through Series 3 on DVD, so
okay,
I
cool.
rewatched it for the third time.
Brilliant.
I'll just stick with that. But everyone else, if you haven't watched The Wire,
do it.
Now would be a good opportunity to do it.
Yeah. The blog for Chris is up at stuff.co.nz. It's called the On The Box blog. You can also catch up with him on Twitter as well, twitter.com/Chris Philpott NZ. See you next week.
See you then.
Track